Here we go, Hazel. Whew! How about that Tom Brady? Has he ever been greater? It's just miraculous what this man continues to pull off. Quick cameo as you're getting settled in for a quick Facebook for me before the Eagles and the Vikings square off. Quick cameo, Ernestine's out shopping. Here's Hazel, our little daughter, our little Maltese. Hi, Hazel. She took a bath yesterday. She looks pretty good. How are you? You're kind of scared that your mom, aren't you? Well, say hi to Facebook. Say hi to Facebook. Thank you. Got to clean my nose before I do Facebook. Thank you. That's sweet. Okay, she's actually the fiercest Maltese this side of Malta. A year and 3 months is little Hazel Bayless, our only child. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hazel. She's going into my trash right now. See what she can dig out, and I'm sure she will get something. Yeah, she's got a protein bar wrapper. She's going to tear it apart. So, how about that Tom Brady? Now, think about this. Put this in perspective, if you will. And I can't wait for Undisputed tomorrow at 9:30 to noon Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1, because I'm going to give hell to those people over there across the desk and over there across the desk, all comers. I've taken so much crap about Tom Brady. I had Shannon Sharp on Thursday, I think it was, saying that the Patriots have fabricated the injury. He tried to back that up a little bit, walk it back just a little bit on Friday, saying, well, maybe I chose the wrong word. Maybe they embellished his injury. Well, it was 10 stitches worth of embellishment. It was 10 stitches worth of fabrication. Again, not the end of the world, but pretty big distraction, wouldn't you say, on a week in which you're preparing to play the team that has all the kryptonite that Brady could ever ask for. I'm sorry, I'm not mad at you, Hazel. Hazel's a little freak, but I want you to put this in perspective. Not only does he have 10 stitches in his throwing hand, not only is he not sure going into the game whether he's going to wear a glove or no glove, warmed up without the glove, thought it was okay, just said via CBS that obviously he was freaked out on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but then calmed down as he figured out he could throw it without a glove. And I will make no excuse. I'm not going to lay it on thick about it. I don't even care about the 10 stitches, but I do care about this. Hazel's now down at my feet. She's rapt. She's into what I'm saying. She was watching Brady too. She's into it. Think about this. No Julian Edelman. No Gronkowski today. Thank you, Hazel. Go on. I'll be right back. Now, had an audience of one. Now I just have an audience of you. Think about this. No, they reacquired Martellus. No Martellus, shoulder busted. He was damaged goods already. Think about this. Malcolm Mitchell emerged at the end of the year last year as pretty viable out of Georgia. Pretty good third down receiver, a little bigger receiver. Nope. Gone all year. They acquired Kenny Britt late in the year, and I thought, oh, big target who can run a little bit, inactive today. Think about this. No Gronk for the end of the year last year, the last 8 games. And what I said at halftime, late in the second quarter, stood up, because I swear Tom Brady's at least as good without Gronkowski. So Shannon Sharp, I'm coming for you tomorrow. I'm coming for everybody on Undisputed who gives me all this crap about how Gronkowski makes Tom Brady. Baloney, he does. Baloney. Tom Brady makes Tom Brady. Tom Brady makes Bill Belichick. Tom Brady makes that whole team go. He's up against the hottest young defense in pro football. It is hellacious good. It is stud upon stud upon stud. Jalen Ramsey guaranteeing victory. Eat that, Jalen. Jalen had a big pass interference in the fourth quarter. Tom Brady threw for 138 yards in the fourth quarter without any of those receivers I just mentioned, including Rob Gronkowski. Just think about this. He's just having a dink here, dunk there, up the field here to Brandon Cooks, up the field to Philip Dorsett. It's just a bunch of guys he's throwing to. I love Danny Amendola, but he's about my size. He's guts. He's clutch. It took him for a while. I remember those first couple of years after Amendola joined Brady. Brady, not a big fan of Amendola's. Didn't think he had the heart for it. Didn't think he had the rapport with Brady, the connection. And now he's made one clutch catch after another. And that throw to the back of the end zone, it was a sweet catch, but it was a sweeter throw. He threw it exactly where he had to sit. I didn't think Tom could get it in the end zone. I thought it was going to be one of those against that defense in the red zone from 5 yards. It's just hard to get it in the end zone. And I thought, we're looking at what happened in the first quarter, which is they couldn't cash from the 10-yard line, had to take 3. And I thought, this has overtime written all over it. It looked like it was going to be 20-20 going to overtime. And Tom Brady hangs in against the rush, gets blasted. He got blasted a lot today. And throws it just high and wide enough where only, guess who could catch it? Danny Amendola goes up at, what is he, like 5'10", and snatches it. So all those studs in the secondary, Jalen Ramsey and my ex-Cowboy Barry Church and A.J. Boye, they're everywhere. Tayshaun Gibson, they're so talented. Miles Jack's back there, although at that point he may have been, I think he just left with an injury, but you got Telvin Smith. You got studs. You got athletic ability everywhere, and it's hard to get somebody open in the end zone. And Brady throws it right where nobody could get it except Danny Amendola. And I was scared to death the whole game because this was the Tom Coughlin factor. I talked about it on Undisputed. You can see us tomorrow, 9:30 to noon Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. But Tom Brady, student of history, knows that Tom Coughlin has been his kryptonite. Tom Coughlin has had his number dating all the way back to the 2007 season, in which, again, without going into all the gory detail, Tom Coughlin's team took Brady to the wire in the last regular season game. It was 38-35, and that was the record-setting Brady to Randy Moss with Welker team. And it was 38-35 at the Meadowlands, remember, on that Saturday night at the end of the year. And it set up on confidence what Eli and company were about to do to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, which was, 17-14. Tom Brady throws it to Moss with 2 minutes left. Looked like it was the 14-10 winning touchdown. And then Eli pulls off the luckiest play in the history of the Super Bowl, basically closing his eyes and flinging it as far as he could, a pass and a prayer. And it sticks basically in Tyree's face mask in front of Rodney Harrison. Again, Eli was on Undisputed at the Super Bowl a year ago and admitted, it was the luckiest play he ever pulled off because he about got sacked 3 times. And Eli, not the most mobile quarterback, escaped, closed his eyes, actually put his hand over his eyes, I'm kidding, and threw it as far as he could, and Tyree comes down to it, and it just changed the game. Game would have been over right there, and instead he's able to throw it to Plaxico for the winning touchdown. Brady got Eli'd. And then Brady got Eli'd again in Foxborough in the regular season. It was 24-20 on a late Eli touchdown pass. And then Brady got Eli'd again in the second Super Bowl with the Manningham pass, which was not lucky. It was right down the chimney to Manningham, which set up the one Brady mistake that he's made in all of his Super Bowls. He's now about to go to his 8th Super Bowl. And he was a little high and outside to Wes Welker up the seam, not a route that Wes Welker ran very much. It was actually a pretty deep throw, and nobody's home up the seam, and Brady throws it high and outside the left, and Welker should have snagged it, and he did not. It's a catchable ball, but Brady was slightly off target, and the next day I was on the other show on ESPN, and I criticized Brady because he missed it a little bit. That's the only throw I've ever seen him miss in a crucial clutch situation in a Super Bowl. So now he's done it again. He threw for 138 today against Tom Coughlin, his nemesis. And I thought, again, on Wednesday, I'm thinking Tom Coughlin got him again. I'm sure Brady in the back of his mind was thinking, he did it again. I got a freak accident here. I'm trying to hand off to Burkhead in practice. At least that's what the report said. Got his hand stuck. Freakish cut where it cuts just at the base of the thumb. 10 stitches necessary, quite a few. And I'm sure it was just nagging, distracting, and he's thinking, he's got me again. He's got the kind of defense I'm going to have a hard time against, especially if they can get pressure with their front four. And to New England's credit, they protected Brady just enough to give him enough time in the fourth quarter to do what he did. To the Legion of Boom, the Seattle defense in that Super Bowl, and I realize it took a flukish play at the end of the game. I just thought it was a great play by Malcolm Butler, but don't forget what Tom Brady did in the fourth quarter of that game. 13 of 15 for, if memory serves, like 124 in that game. That's against the Legion of Boom in the fourth quarter. You want to talk about all-time clutch? And then against Atlanta, you want to talk all-time clutch? Tom Brady against the Falcons, I know it was 28-3, and maybe Atlanta didn't have the best defense, but it was the hottest defense at the end of the year, according to all the experts. And what did Tom Brady do to the Falcons in the fourth quarter and overtime? He threw for 246 yards. It's impossible. It's impossibly clutch. There's never been anything like him. And then Shannon Sharp's trying to say they're trying to create a false narrative, like fake news. To what end? So Jacksonville will have to prep for Brian Hoyer? Are you kidding me? Why does Tom Brady need an excuse? Why does he need any sympathy? Nobody's got any sympathy for him anyway. All he does is what he just did. And in the end, does this not validate Robert Kraft pushing? I see Tom's going to talk for a second here, so if you need to listen, go ahead. But I'm going to keep rolling here because remember what just happened. We just saw a story from ESPN, and it nailed it. Robert Kraft forced Bill Belichick to trade Jimmy Garoppolo because of that. Because Kraft knows, big picture, this guy ain't finished yet. He's 40, and he says he's going to go to 45. Don't bet against him. Don't bet against that man that you see on television right now. He's just too good. He's in too great a shape. And Shannon Sharp makes fun of pliability. He's lengthening his muscles instead of strengthening his muscles. He says he's got no bicep left anymore. And I get it. I'm not flexible at all. I got a big bicep. I'm sorry, just real quick. But again, I'm not flexible at all. He's figured out how to beat Father Time playing pro football. Was he not? He took his shots today. Does he look okay? He looks okay. It's because he's figured out a new system. So Belichick's down on the trainer, and the trainer loses his credentials for the sideline of team playing. Baloney. It's all about this guy, Tom Brady. It's all about 12. He has made Bill Belichick. I don't care what you say. And that defense today, it was too much break and not enough bend. I know it was bend and don't break through the year, but it was 20th against the run. It finally settled in against the run in the second half. It finally got sharper in the red zone where it had been very good during the year, but it was breaking too much because of Eli Bortles. So, it's Tom Coughlin. It's everything. The degree of difficulty is off the charts for with the 10 stitches in the hand. It's everything is against Tom Brady, but Robert Kraft was right. He knew what happened. He issued a mandate to Bill Belichick, trade him. And what did Belichick do? He gave him away. He tried to sabotage the Patriots going forward. I don't care what you say. There's internal strife. That's against Brady. Friends of Tom Brady's have told me for 2 or 3 years, he is not close with Belichick. He doesn't like him or not like him. He just doesn't know him that well. They don't socialize. They've never played golf, except one time they got paired together at Pebble Beach. But as far as in New England in the summer or anywhere else they might meet in the summer, they don't socialize and don't play golf. And it amuses Brady because he thinks they've been sort of business partners for these, what has it been, 18 years. You'd think they'd know each other a little better than they do. Well, that's Belichick, trying to be the general, keeps arm's length from the players that he coaches, even the quarterback. I get that. That's sort of the old Tom Landry way. Don't ever get close to any player, even your quarterback. I get that. But in the big picture, Belichick's been able to do everything he did. Get rid of Chandler Jones, Jamie Collins, Coney Ely. He just gets rid of them because there's no real pressure on Belichick because he knows that 12 will cover for him. He knows it. He knows he can get away with near murder. He can sort of do whatever he wants to do defensively. And as long as they're pretty good, and they're only pretty good on defense, he'll get away with it. And finally, Stephon Gilmore made a play. And that was the premier free agent corner on the market. And he finally earned his free agent millions with that one play because Bortles, it looked like it stepped up through the rush. and made a throw on the move up through the pocket. For a second, I thought it was 6. I thought, this is going to be the end of the Patriots as we knew and loved them. And Stephon Gilmore rose up and got a hand on the ball because, as Rob Ryan has said on Undisputed many times, he's defended Stephon Gilmore, that he's a rare talent. It didn't look like he fit for a long time this year. He didn't look like he knew the Patriot way. It looked like he could never quite get with the defense, especially in those first 4 games when they were on a record pace giving up yards. That was this year. Think about that. Tom Brady had to cover. Remember, Tom Brady had to go to Drew Brees in week 2 after they got shellacked on that opening Thursday night, and Tom Brady almost threw for 300 in the first half. How can he not be the MVP this year? I don't know. I know Carson Wentz had a phenomenal breakthrough year, but look what's happening in Philadelphia. You don't think Philadelphia as a football team, all-around football team, is better than the Patriots? I do, because people don't talk about it. Philly, they've got a really good offensive line, really good. Their front 7 on defense is really good, and their back 4 is really veteran and really seasoned and really smart and play with edge. Malcolm Jenkins on down. They're just a good football team with better receivers than Tom Brady gets to throw to, and a better running game, a lot better running game. You don't think the Patriots missed LeGarrette Blount today? That Winnebago? He's with the Eagles. Jay Ajayi is with the Eagles. That Corey Clement, he's with the Eagles. These are really good football players. That's a really good football team. And all of a sudden, you just put Nick Foles in. Nick Foles is pretty good. But Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, well, it just undercuts Carson Wentz's MVP argument. And then Todd Gurley, so we had 2 big fantasy games at the end of the year, and everybody's saying, hey, we're sick and tired of Tom Brady. Give it to Todd Gurley. Baloney. Baloney. It's Tom Brady. He had one of his great, it's hard to say which year is greater, but on degree of difficulty without Edelman, and then you start losing other receivers. Martellus could have helped a lot today. You don't think Martellus would have helped today? Nope. Sorry. So he's throwing to Danny Amendola. He's about 5'10", I don't know, maybe 190, maybe 185, 190. That's it. That's all you got. And you pull that off against that defense on that stage, it's just preposterously great. And look, Tom Brady, they're only 3 for 12 on 3rd down today because that defense is so good. And by the way, quick thought, I'm free associating, but James Harrison, I will give Belichick this. He reached out and snagged James Harrison as soon as Mike Tomlin said, nope, I've seen enough, had enough, you're out. And James Harrison had 1 bull rush today. I know Trey Flowers got there, but I said when they signed him, just get 1 play out of him. So I'm going to give Belichick that one. But in the end, Brady made play after play, and he suffered some big drops. Gronk dropped one up the sideline. I know it was a pretty tough catch, but you hit him right in the hands. And then Brandon Cooks dropped one right in the hands that he might still be running with, and I thought it was maybe the end of the football game. I thought I was going to look back and say, well, that was the play. And then I thought the Patriots even, I'm not going to call it a robbery, but just because the call on the field was a fumble on the Dion Lewis where they tried the trick play, that's how desperate Josh McDaniels was getting. They tried 2 flea flickers, and the first one was the reverse. I don't even know what it was. I'd never even seen the play before. But Dion Lewis takes off up the sideline, and he's sort of waiting for his blockers, and Miles Jack, who can fly, catches up with him, and looked like he had stripped the football, but I thought Dion Lewis controlled it on his hip enough that he still had control when his knee hit the ground. Then he lost the football after his knee hit the ground. Nope, they're going to stay with the call on the field, not show up the referees. I don't know about that one, but it didn't matter because you got number 12 in Foxborough under a Patriots helmet. Unbelievable performance. I don't even know how to rank them. Legion of Boom, 4th quarter. You're down 28-3, and you pull off that 4th quarter in overtime versus Atlanta on the Super Bowl stage, and then you do this on the AFC Championship game stage against a defense. I know Minnesota was statistically the best defense, but seriously, does anybody not think that was the best defense in pro football? I don't think anybody thinks anything else. And Tom Brady just shredded it in the 4th quarter. I know Ben Roethlisberger shredded it. It's the only reason I thought there was hope today. And again, I just root for my picks, and I picked the Patriots before the season started, mostly because of quote-unquote 40-year-old Tom Brady. But my God, it looked like they had a chance because Big Ben, when they fell behind 21-0, he just started playing backyard football, and he wound up throwing for, 469, and they piled up 545 yards of total offense. And they did put up 42 points, but again, in this case, it was different. It was a back-and-forth seesaw game, and the Patriots could not run a lick, and Tom Brady still pulled that off. What'd they get, I don't have the stats in front of me. It's like 60 yards. And remember, Tom Brady only had the ball today for 25 minutes. Blake Bortles had the ball for 35 minutes to Tom's 25. And in 25 minutes, he almost threw for 300 yards. Shannon Sharp was trying to bet me on Undisputed. Again, you can see us tomorrow from 9:30 to noon Eastern Time, Fox Sports 1. He was trying to bet me all week. I bet you Tom Brady doesn't throw for 300 against this defense. He threw for 290 in 25 minutes. They had it for 35. He had it for 25. Just on the spear, I didn't take the bet because I just said I don't want to get involved in that. I only care about who wins the game. And, of course, Shannon Sharp chickened out, as he always does. He's still going to pick Tom Brady. And he's just doing it to CYA, just so he's rooting like crazy against Brady, as most people are outside Patriot Nation. The Brady hate, the Brady resentment, the Brady jealousy is incomprehensible to me. People don't like him. A lot of commentators on Undisputed don't like him because he doesn't fit the mold of what they want a franchise star, best quarterback ever to look like, to act like. He's aw shucks, gee whiz. The dad next door posting silly pictures, lame little pictures on Instagram and Facebook of him and his kids eating avocado ice cream. There's no edge to him except when he turns into Psycho Tom on the field. But they don't want that. They want Aaron Rodgers swagger, discount, double check, baloney. Aaron Rodgers can't carry this guy's jock. It boils down to that. He can't. Look at Aaron Rodgers' record in the postseason since he won his one Super Bowl. He's 5-6 in the postseason, and he's lost two home games? I think it's 3 home games. I'd have to check on that. I know he lost to Kaepernick at home. He lost to Eli at home. Am I forgetting another one? Maybe it's just those 2. But the point is, he's not even in Tom Brady's stratosphere. And all I hear on Undisputed is, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, greatest thrower of the football ever. And that gets you what? Get you one Super Bowl that happened like 15 years ago? Really? This guy's about to be in his 8th Super Bowl. This guy just played in his 7th straight AFC Championship game. My God. It's just unfathomable what I just watched. He pulled it out again. He's the clutchest quarterback ever, and I'm going to make this case again on Undisputed tomorrow. I'm going to make it again, and I dare anybody to out-argue me on this one, to win this debate. He is the clutchest athlete of all time, including the guy that I am the biggest fan of all time, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You know why? Tom Brady has had more clutch opportunities on the biggest stages in his sport than Michael ever had. Again, opportunities where you have to come up big in the fourth quarter. Michael always came through, not always, but enough times when it really mattered. 6 NBA Finals, 6 MVPs, but just so many fourth quarters, starting with when he was a kid quarterback. How about that last drive to set up the field goal against the St. Louis Rams in one of the biggest Super Bowl upsets ever? How about the fourth quarter in the shootout the next year against Carolina? Look at the field goal drive. Just go back and look at how many times he converted third down in that drive. And I know it got won by a field goal, but you got to set up the field goal. So there are 2 right there. And then he was pretty clutch against Eli in the first Super Bowl. Go look at the drive. It was an 80-yard drive, touchdown pass to Randy Moss that put them ahead 14-10 with 2 minutes left. That's in the fourth quarter. That's pretty great. And then Seattle, Legion of Boom. Atlanta down 28-3. Here against the Jaguar defense. extreme degree of difficulty, hand or no hand, I don't even care. I won't even bring it up tomorrow. I don't even care because it obviously did not bother him. But he has had more opportunities to be clutch than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and he has come through again and again and again. But he's an assassin, is Tom Brady, in sheep's clothing. So no one can get it through their heads, their thick heads, that this guy is even more clutch than Michael Jordan. It's like an incomprehensible thing. And I'm the biggest Jordan fan ever. I fight for Jordan like LeBron James. It's laughable to me that you can even put him in the same debate with Michael Jordan. But I get that on Undisputed day after day after day. And it's just hard for me to even dredge up emotion for it because it's bogus. And look at this. We're seeing LeBron James right now start to lose it because age is catching up to LeBron James at, what is he? He just turned 33. He's in his 15th year. Tom Brady, 40 in his 18th year, at the end of his 18th year. And he's playing at a much higher level, Tom Brady is, than LeBron James is now. Think about that. LeBron James on defense and in second halves has become disastrous here over the last 12 games, including obviously yesterday when they gave up 148. But I haven't updated this stat. Just to put LeBron James in perspective, the previous 11 games in which they were 3-8, and they were lucky to be 3 because Isaiah got that call at the end of the game the other night. But think about this. In the second halves of the previous 11 games, LeBron James, the best player on the planet, I'm told day after day after day by Shannon Sharp, best player on the planet, was on plus minus. When you're on the floor, what's the score? Minus 61. So your team lost by 61 points while you were on the floor in 11 straight games in the middle of a basketball season. Does that ever happen to Tom Brady? No. It's laughable to me. He's so far beyond LeBron James. It's a joke. And this, you will hear this tomorrow on Undisputed. LeBron James is 3-5 in NBA Finals. Again, if you want to make the Jordan is greater than Tom Brady case, be my guest. But I don't know. 5, and he's going to be favored to win his 6th Super Bowl against 2 defeats that were a little fluky, maybe a lot fluky. And now he's overcome his nemesis, his kryptonite, Tom Coughlin, as the new overseer of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's just greatness upon greatness upon greatness. He didn't need an excuse today. He didn't need any sympathy today. He was just Tom Brady. I don't know. At some point, you just have to stop all your hate, all your resentment, all your jealousy, supermodel wife, blah, 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 blah. And just step back and accept him for who he is and what he keeps doing. We've never seen anything like it in sports, not just in football, in sports. And he pulled it off again against a Blake Bortles who had turned into Eli Bortles. He was Eli. Blake Bortles was phenomenal today. At the end, they finally got up in his face, and he missed the last couple of throws. But at one point, he was 13 of 15. I guess in the first half, he's 13 of 15, and they just kept converting third down after third down after third down. I'm not sure what it turned out. I don't have the stats right in front of me. They're 4 out of 6 at halftime. I know he had a late big third down conversion that looked like it was going to set them up to win the game, and Tom Brady won the game. Ha! I need to take a shower before the next game. I'm sweaty. I've sweated through pitted out my shirt. I've never seen anything like it. I can't wait to talk about it. I will join you, probably not at halftime of this game, but after this game. I'm hyperventilating. I got to calm down. I got to get myself back together. I'm going to go Eagles at home because that's a really good football team with a decent quarterback in Nick Foles, a former third-round draft pick out of Drew Brees High School in Austin, Texas, Austin Westlake, where all they did was throw the football. Nick Foles threw for 4,000 yards his last year at Arizona. He can throw it. He can operate that West Coast, that run-pass option. I think it would be plenty good enough because the team around him is really good. So I think the magic carpet ride for the Vikings stops here. But last point, I will be rooting like mad for the Vikings to win this game, even though my head, it's like head over heart. Head tells me Eagles, because that's a hard place to win a playoff game. Heart tells me Minnesota, because I want Tom Brady to have the highest degree of difficulty possible so that his Super Bowl will have more credibility. Obviously, I'm already picking New England to win the Super Bowl because I picked them before the year. But I want them to beat the statistically number one defense in its Thunderdome up in Minneapolis, the first Super Bowl home team. So getting past Jacksonville and then the number one defense statistically in its home dome on the Super Bowl Sunday, I'd say that would qualify as pretty great, wouldn't you? At least that would have more credibility than, oh, well, it was Blake Bortles and Case Keenum. That would have, or let's throw in Nick Foles. This would have credibility. Go Vikings, but I got the Eagles. I'll talk to you after the game. Thank you for hanging with me. Whew.